G'day everyone, Lawmate here. So, do you guys remember that Knights of the Old Republic remake? So, what's going on with this? It feels like every time I hear something about this game, it's almost always negative. So, for those of you that don't know, presumably because you're not obsessing over a 20-year-old Star Wars game like I am, way back in 2021, Sony announced in their showcase that there was a KOTOR remake in the works as a PS5 exclusive being developed by Aspyr, who you might know for some of the other games that they've made, most notably though their work in porting and remaking other Star Wars games like Republic Commando and Jedi Knight Academy. This time though, Aspyr weren't satisfied with just another lift and shift game and said that they were rebuilding the game from the ground up, presumably updating the gameplay, most notably the combat system I'm assuming, and boasting that they had some serious voice talent involved, including Jennifer Hale, who was a part of the voice cast for the original game. Also, apparently, this game had also been in development for almost 3 years before the announcement in some capacity. Now, this got a lot of people hyped up. I mean, for a lot of people, KOTOR is the Star Wars game. It's what you think of when someone talks about Star Wars games. And, you know, I told myself not to buy into the hype. I really did. They had barely announced any details, and there was still a lot that could go wrong, which we'll see. But when I saw that trailer, and Revan igniting the lightsaber, I mean, damn. That was seriously one of the reasons why I went out and bought a PS5, as dumb as that sounds. And since the announcement, there just really hasn't been much to get excited about for this game. And look, I know usually when a dev announces something and then goes fairly radio silent, I'm generally not too worried. You know, they might have their heads down and they're smashing out an absolute gem of a game. Usually they'll treat us to a nugget here and there to, tide us over and build a bit of hype around the game, whether or not you think that's a good practice or not. But that was not the case this time, and what little information we did get was not encouraging to say the least. Following almost a year of radio silence, in 2022, Bloomberg reported that the game was on an indefinite hold, with internal demos just not hitting the mark when shown to Sony and Lucasfilm's executives. As if this wasn't bad enough, Aspyr also fired the game's art and design directors. So, as a result of this, it was also announced that the development of the game was being moved from Aspyr over to Saber Interactive, who are currently working on the Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 game, which is looking extremely good, might I add. So yeah, it's not looking good at this stage, but the bad news doesn't end here. Fast forward to September 2023, and it appears that Sony has taken down all of the trailers and promo materials, setting them to private. So now this has caused a lot of people to obviously start thinking the worst, like the plug has been pulled from the game, like a coma patient with just no hope of waking up. Turns out though, this wasn't the case, and the actual explanation, it's honestly even more bizarre. So it turns out there was a Star Wars track in those trailers that they hadn't relicensed, and as such they deleted the videos as per Sony's normal policy for when they lose the rights to music for one of the videos, because they don't want to get sued. This just makes you think though, how could they lose the rights to something as important as the music for the trailers for a game that they were hyping up so much? It really makes you wonder just how much faith they had in the game in the first place if they couldn't even renew the license and keep the trailers uploaded. Fast forward to now though, in late 2023, most fans are assuming the game is dead, with development ceasing completely. So this hasn't been helped though by the head of the studio's parent company just flat out refusing to talk about the game at all, going so far as to say during a financial presentation, "I noticed that anything I say to this becomes a headline, so that is my only comment. And you know what? Surely enough." But that's not the end of our little journey. As of this video, a Bloomberg insider has reported that Saber Interactive is still working on the game in some capacity, though it doesn't say when it's coming out, and if ever. And what kind of the game it's going to be in any case. If it's going to be an action game, more close to the old BioWare, we just don't know. This brings us to now though, where the game seems to be neither alive or dead, kind of like a digital Schrodinger's cat. According to the insider sources, the game is moving ahead in some capacity, though I'm guessing that it's not going to get much attention until Saber Interactive finishes up with Space Marine 2, which, is completely fair. That game's looking awesome. So I'm trying to stay cautiously optimistic. I think that Saber are working on it in the background, salvaging what they can from the initial work that Aspyr put into it, and putting the pieces in place so they can allocate more resources to the development once they wrap up Space Marine 2. So guys, what do you think of this whole situation? Do you think we're getting the KOTOR remake at all? Ever? Do you think we're going to get it just in a really long time? Or do you think that they've just canned the game completely, just pull the plug, never going to see it? Comment below and let me know. And once again, thank you for listening. See you in the next one.